Welcome back to the End of Days Chronicles channel. As the Roman soldier Longinus, who had recently been promoted to the prestigious rank of centurion, observed the final moments of Jesus on the cross, accompanied by his fellow soldiers who kept a vigilant watch, a series of unexpected events unfolded. An earthquake and other supernatural occurrences had a seismic impact on them, leaving them not only terribly frightened, but also in awe. These events prompted them to declare, "Truly, this was the Son of God." Matthew 27:53, Amplified Bible. In his role as a centurion, Longinus bore the responsibility of ensuring that the crucifixion proceeded meticulously and without complications. Typically commanding 100 soldiers during such executions, he had risen through the military ranks due to his courage and intelligence. Operating at the highest echelon, he embodied the epitome of a cold and efficient soldier, faithfully executing the orders of his superior. The crucifixion scene, however, had an unparalleled impact on the seasoned centurion. Even as a hardened Roman, he couldn't ignore the remarkable nature of this event, leading him to acknowledge the innocence of Jesus, who was crucified for a crime he did not commit. The centurion grappled with a myriad of emotions, realizing that he had overseen the crucifixion of an innocent man. These were not the trembling words of a fearful recruit, but the considered conclusions of a veteran who had witnessed countless brutal deaths and had been responsible for putting many to death. Despite the vehement condemnation by Jewish religious leaders who accused Jesus of blasphemy and secured Pontius Pilate's conviction, the centurion defied the prevailing sentiment. He was overwhelmed by the compelling arguments in favor of Christ and questioned the nature of this execution, sensing an extraordinary difference compared to his past experiences. The centurion's transformation was prompted by various scenes, from the arrest, trial, and crucifixion of Jesus. Notably, Jesus' response to the injustice inflicted upon him by his countrymen, marked by his silence in the face of false accusations, left an indelible impression. The centurion pondered the high priest's inquiries, Jesus' affirmation of being the Son of God, and the anticipation of his future revelation as the Son of Man. Further intensifying the centurion's realization was the soldier's cruel mockery of Jesus at the Praetorium, where he was stripped, clad in a scarlet robe and a thorny crown, and subjected to spitting and relentless blows. Jesus endured this humiliation silently. Pontius Pilate's futile attempts to appease the crowd by releasing Barabbas and subjecting Jesus to scourging underscored the depth of Jesus' concern for their forgiveness, not his own escape. These are all biblical accounts of what the Roman soldier said when he saw the last hours of Jesus. I would now like to share something significant about this proclamation that is not written in the books of the Bible. The name Longinus is said to be the name of the Roman centurion. This name first appeared in the apocryphal Gospel of Nicodemus. The lance is called the Holy Lance, or Lancia, in Christianity, and the story is related in the Gospel of John during the crucifixion. This act is said to have created the last of the 5 holy wounds of Christ. This unnamed person mentioned in the Gospels is sometimes identified in certain versions of the legend as the centurion who was present at the crucifixion and declared that Jesus was the Son of God. As a result, he is considered one of the first Christians and a Roman convert. Over the years, Longinus's legend grew, and it was said that he converted to Christianity after the crucifixion. He is traditionally venerated as a saint in the Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox Church, and other Christian denominations. Originally, Longinus was not recognized as a saint in the Christian tradition. In an early tradition found in a pseudepigraphical letter of Herod to Pilate from the 6th or 7th century, it is claimed that Longinus suffered for piercing Jesus and was condemned to a cave where a lion would maul him every night until dawn, only for his body to heal back to normal. Later traditions transformed him into a Christian convert. The name of Longinus was not known to the Greeks before Patriarch Germanus in 715 introduced it to the Western world from the apocryphal Gospel of Nicodemus. There is no reliable authority for the acts and martyrdom of this saint. The name Longinus likely derives from the Greek word launch, which refers to the lance mentioned in John. This connection is evident in the Latinized form of the name and its association with the soldier holding the spear during the crucifixion. The earliest known appearance of the name Longinus is found in a Syriac Gospel manuscript illuminated by Rabbus in 586. It is presented in horizontal Greek letters as linos beside an illustration of the Crucifixion, specifically depicting the soldier with the spear. The spear wielded by Longinus is identified as the Holy Lance and has been referred to as the Spear of Destiny, particularly in occult circles. The veneration of this sacred relic dates back to at least the 6th century in Jerusalem, although historical reports do not mention either the centurion or the name Longinus. The spear, known as the Lance of Longinus, plays a significant role in the legends of the Holy Grail. Its connection to Longinus and its purported mystical properties contribute to its significance in various myths and narratives surrounding the quest for the Holy Grail. Over time, the name Longinus and the associated spear have gained cultural and occult significance. While rooted in Christian tradition, especially in the context of the Crucifixion, the figure of Longinus and the Holy Lance have become subjects of interest and interpretation in broader cultural and mystical contexts. Considering all of this, we can conclude that the name of the Roman centurion who declared Jesus to be the Son of God was Longinus, and he was present when Jesus died. The overwhelming circumstances surrounding Jesus' death led even a veteran Roman centurion, who had witnessed numerous horrific scenes throughout his life, to be terrified and proclaim that Jesus was the Son of God. The Roman centurion's presence throughout Jesus' arrest and crucifixion was significant. He witnessed everything and came to believe that the events unfolding were extraordinary, surpassing scientific or Roman military understanding. Consequently, he made a proclamation acknowledging Jesus as more than an ordinary individual. According to the New Testament accounts, several notable occurrences took place when Jesus died, witnessed by the Roman centurion. The Gospel of Matthew, Record 7:51, records a powerful earthquake and the splitting of rocks at the moment of Jesus' death, symbolizing the profound impact of his crucifixion on creation. Additionally, the temple veil tore from top to bottom, representing the removal of the barrier between God and humanity. Matthew 27:52-53 describes the resurrection of certain saints who appeared to many in Jerusalem after Jesus' death, emphasizing victory over death through his sacrifice. It's important to note that this event is unique to Matthew's Gospel. Regarding the Roman centurion, after piercing Jesus' side to ensure his death, blood mixed with water reportedly came out and touched the centurion's eyes. However, the biblical accounts do not explicitly state whether the centurion became blind or had any eye problems. The focus of the accounts is on his confession of Jesus as the Son of God, rather than his physical condition. The centurion's confession is not considered fake or fabricated. As an experienced soldier who had likely overseen numerous crucifixions, he became desensitized to the suffering of those executed. However, witnessing the events surrounding Jesus' death and the subsequent earthquake, temple veil tearing, and resurrection of saints had a profound impact on him. It is plausible that the centurion was present from the time Jesus was brought before Pilate until his body was taken down from the cross. He may have been involved in Jesus' arrest as well. The centurion's mention in 3 of the 4 Gospel accounts highlights his remarkable transformation following Jesus' death. The centurion's confession stands out because it occurred after witnessing countless crucifixions and observing the behavior of criminals sentenced to death. The mocking and blasphemous words of the thieves on either side of Jesus were familiar to him. However, the centurion recognized that if God could tear the temple veil, then his understanding of a dying Christ could also be transformed. This confession by the Roman centurion is significant because it demonstrates that God's work can be perceived in unexpected places. While some may have missed it, the centurion witnessed God's activity on the cross and recognized its significance. The narrative in Mark's Gospel underscores the theme of seeing God's work where it is least expected, with the centurion being one of the first to grasp this revelation. In summary, the centurion's confession is a manifestation of his profound realization of God's activity during Jesus' crucifixion. It challenges the blindness of those who were expected to see, highlighting that God's presence can be concealed even in the most revealing moment. The inability of God's people to recognize his presence is a recurring theme. Although God was present in the world, His people failed to perceive him. Despite being the creator of the world did not acknowledge him. Furthermore, when he came to his own people, they rejected him. In the Gospel of John, there is a passage, John, that highlights this perplexing situation. It suggests that even today, this strange phenomenon persists. The text challenges our preconceived notions of what aligns with God's plan. When faced with such unfamiliarity, we struggle to accept the reality of these events. The Roman centurion's understanding of Jesus' identity is also called into question. There is a danger in interpreting the centurion's confession as anything other than genuine. By resorting to irony or other explanations, we unintentionally shield ourselves from witnessing God's true intentions. We may confine ourselves to the structure of the story, the author's narrative devices, and other literary elements. However, in Mark's Gospel, we witness a narrative that compels us to recognize that the Roman centurion's statement was sincere. The Roman centurion's confession is rooted in the extraordinary nature of Jesus' death. Mark 15:37 and 39 describe Jesus crying out with a loud voice just before he dies. This cry, contrary to the weakened state of crucifixion victims, signifies victory. The centurion, who had observed numerous crucifixions, recognized the unique manner in which Jesus died. It convinced him that Jesus was truly the Son of God. The centurion's conversion is highly probable. Initially an unbeliever, his perception changed dramatically as he witnessed Jesus' crucifixion. Jesus' prayer for forgiveness, the darkness that fell over the land, the earthquake, and finally Jesus' death with a triumphant cry. All these extraordinary events led the centurion to proclaim Jesus as the Son of God. The centurion's conversion surpasses that of Peter, as he fearlessly proclaimed his faith in the face of Christ's enemies. Additionally, the centurion's acknowledgement that Jesus was a righteous man further emphasizes his conversion. This aligns with the repentant thief's confession, who also recognized Jesus' innocence. Both the centurion and the thief, through divine revelation, saw Jesus as sinless and guiltless. While the extent of their scriptural knowledge is unknown, they understood enough to affirm Jesus' righteousness. The centurion's confession affirms that Jesus was not only the Son of God but also a righteous man. In conclusion, the Roman centurion's confession is a powerful testimony of his conversion. His recognition of Jesus as the Son of God and a righteous man demonstrates his genuine faith. The centurion's experience challenges us to question our own ability to perceive God's actions and invites us to embrace the truth of these remarkable events. Thank you for watching. See you in the next videos.